Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm gonna be doing the January book tag that Lauranda Reads, I believe is their channel name. They just recently posted it, and I think they got it from another YouTuber that posted it last year. So I'll tag them below and then you can see who they originally tagged as well. I have the questions on a piece of paper because I film on my phone, so I couldn't see it on my phone. So the first question was, what was the first and last book you read last year? So my first book was Then She Was Gone, which I gave a 4-star at the time. I think I ended up giving like a 3.5. But at the time that I read it, it was like a nice, quick, easy read. It was like a quick thriller, and I think it kind of got me like in the groove of reading again, because I do remember by the end of 2021 I was kind of going into a slump, I think, and so Then She Was Gone just picked me right back up, got me into reading. It was a good book. My last book was Archer's Voice. 5 stars, absolutely loved it. If you want to see my thoughts on the books I read last year, I do have a video on it, so you can go check it out. But 5-star Archer's Voice. The second question is, what is your first read this year? And my first read for this year was Had He Been With Me, and it was a Kindle book, and I gave it a 3.5. And I know that's probably gonna be a little bit of an unpopular opinion. I know people are giving it 5 stars, but okay, I'll talk about it also in my January wrap up, but I'll just kind of mention it. One, I kind of wish the big plot twist was kind of more of a surprise. It's given to you in the very first sentence, and I think I probably would have bawled my eyes out if it had been a little bit more of a surprise. And 2, I personally don't really like the miscommunication trope, and that's the main, just the main story in that book is like just this big miscommunication, and I personally don't like it that much, so I gave it a 3.5 stars. But it was a nice, fast childhood friends to lovers. That might be kind of a spoiler, but I think she also kind of gives that in the synopsis. So I did like that aspect of it, but again, miscommunication is just not my thing, and there's a whole lot of it in that book, so I gave it a 3.5 stars, but I still really liked it. The third question, share 3 of your goals for this year. So my first goal is to read 25 books. Last year, my goal was to read 20, and last year I read 25. But I did kind of have slumping moments, and I kind of expect to have them again. I usually do. I'm not the quickest reader. As you'll see in my January wrap up, I have like 3 to 4 books max. Sometimes I have like 1 book. Like, I know the ACOTAR series, once I get to the bigger books, they're gonna take me a while. They're probably gonna be the only book I read that month. I'm just a slow reader. Not necessarily a slow reader, just the fact that I don't always have time to read. And so I'm putting my goal at 25 because I want to at least know that I can reach that. And hopefully, low-key, my goal is also 30. The second goal is to listen to audiobooks. I think every time I heard that people listen to audiobooks, I was like, that's a great idea. But then when I would start listening to them, I would feel like, am I cheating? Like, is this actually reading? And it is. It is. You're listening to the book, you're comprehending the book. You're not reading it like yourself, but I think it's a good way to still get books into your mind, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So I want to give more audiobooks a chance, and also not just give them a chance, but also I really like listening to audiobooks while I'm driving. I think sometimes I zone out with music just because I listen more to music when I have to like pay attention to the words, maybe because I know them, or maybe because I like what they're saying. But if it's just kind of like any kind of music on the radio, I zone it out. Whereas audiobooks, I really can tell that like I zone into them. I'm listening, I'm like laughing or making faces or whatever, commenting. So I ended up realizing that I really do love audiobooks, so I want to give more audiobooks a shot. And then my third goal is to have less screen time. So I tend to, I'm done eating lunch and I'll say, okay, I'm gonna read, and I pull my book out, and then I also pull my phone out, and then time flies on my phone, and then by the time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read now, there's like 3 minutes left of my lunch, or by the time I'm gonna read, it's already like super late, and so then I realized that I should probably put my phone down and my book down and go to sleep instead. Or I pull my phone out and then I end up just being on there until I get sleepy and I got no reading done, and it really irritates me every time I do it. So my goal is to have less screen time, have more reading time. Question number 4 is share 3 anticipated titles for this year. So mine are not necessarily anticipated titles that are coming out this year, but they're titles that I have on my TBR and I'm really excited to get to them. So the first one is the Akatar series, which isn't a title, like just one book, but that's one of them. The Addicted series, I'm so excited to get to the rest of them. So again, not just one book, a series, but still. And then I am very excited to try my first Taylor Jenkins read. I think the first one I have is Forever Interrupted. That's the one that's on my shelf right now. And I've heard so many great things about Taylor Jenkins Reid that I'm just very excited to try her out. My sister has The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I think it's called. And I want to try that one out as well. So again, not necessarily a title, but just Taylor Jenkins Reid herself. But if it's specifically a title, then I would say Forever Interrupted, because that's the one I have on my shelf. Question number 5, which goals did you reach/not reach last year? The only goal I had set for myself last year was to read 20 books, and I reached that goal. I read 25 books. So I did reach my goal. That's the only goal I had for last year, because I think 2021, I had started reading like in August, and so I was just like not really setting goals for like habits or kinds of books I read. It was just the amount. Number 6, are there any new releases you've heard of that you have no desire to read? I would say Love Theoretically by, I don't even know who it's by, but Love Theoretically. I read the synopsis and I just had no interest in reading it. I think the job that she has mainly threw me off. Like, I think her job is to be dates for people or something like that. I don't know. Just the whole synopsis just didn't really intrigue me. So I would say Love Theoretically. Question number 7, habits you want to change this year. Again, the screen time for sure. That irritates me. I'm just telling you. It just, every time I notice that I'm doing it, I'm like, great, did it again. I could have been reading like at least 10 pages, but I read nothing. Another habit I would say I want to change is filming. Like, I just always was very nervous about filming last year, and so that's probably a habit I want to change. Like, get into the habit of filming and editing and posting. So I think this is my 4th video. So hopefully we keep it going. I will keep it going. Not hopefully, I will. That's what I need to say. Adaptations that are coming out this year, or adaptations that you're excited for. I don't think they were specific on coming out this year. The one I chose was It Ends With Us. I don't know when it's supposed to come out, but that's the one I'm most excited for. I just want to see if they do the book justice. And then one that not necessarily is coming out this year, it already is out, is wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Is The Handmaid's Tale a book based on a show or a show based off a book? I'm assuming it's a show based off a book, because I don't think I've ever seen a book based off of a show or a movie. But I would say The Handmaid's Tale as well, because if you saw my other video, I DNF'd. I think I mentioned it in Books I'm Unhauling. I DNF'd The Handmaid's Tale. The writing style just wasn't for me. But I do want to know like what the hype is about around The Handmaid's Tale. So I would say that's an adaptation that I'm excited to get to. I want to watch it and see like if I like it, if I don't like it. From like previews and stuff, it looks like something I would like. It just, the writing style just wasn't for me. Number 9, your favorite bookish memory from last year. I would say it was recommending a great book to my sister. She read it and then she wanted more recommendations, and she also got into reading, so I thought that was really cool. I don't know how many books she read. She's definitely read more Colleen Hoovers than I have, because she's obsessed with Colleen Hoover and she's obsessed with instant love, and go her for it because that's what she likes. I mean, if you ask her, she'll say that she was already reading because she read a Selena book, but I got her into reading. She needs to quit lying. Liz, quit lying. Number 10, are there any carryovers from last year that are going into this year? And I would say obviously the Addicted series, because I read Addicted to You and Ricochet last year. And I would say probably the most exciting part about that is that I have decided to read the Calloway sisters like duo part of it, reading them together. So that's very exciting. That's a carryover. I think that's it, because I honestly didn't get into, like, at the Addicted series is the only series I got into until ACOTAR. So I would say the Addicted series is the only carryover. And then obviously all the ones that are on my to be read shelf that have been there since last year, which it'll be coming soon. I'll show you guys my TBR shelf, and then I'll show you guys like what I'm kind of on a book buying ban, because I mean, once you see my shelf, people in my life that don't read that much, or even some friends that do read, but like I have a friend, Jessica, that she reads very often, like probably just as much as I do, but she buys like one book at a time because she likes book shopping, and so she'll go and buy one book and then read that book and then buy another book. So when she sees my shelf, she thinks it's crazy how many I have. People in my family who don't read and they see my shelf think it's crazy how many I have. But you booktubers and people watching booktubers just in the bookish community, you'll see my shelf and you will see that it's not that many at all. Like, it's literally a little bit compared to other booktubers that have like shelves and shelves of TBR books they need to read. But I'll show you nonetheless. It's a small collection, but I love my collection, so I'll show you anyways. But I'll show you guys my TBR shelf, and then I'm on a book buying ban because I want to get at least half of those done, and then I will start buying again. So I'll show you guys my TBR shelf, like I've said a million times already, and I'll show you guys my to be bought, I call it. It's a list that I have on Goodreads of books that if I ever do go book shopping, or I honestly try to avoid Barnes & Noble because I will buy a book. But when I go to Target, I always stroll into the book aisle. And so if I read backs of books that I end up liking, I will go on Goodreads and I'll add it into my to be bought list. So I will show you guys the shelf and my list as well. So that's coming up soon. So yeah, I guess kind of there you'll see more of the carryovers that I've had since last year that are going into this year as well. But yeah, so that was my January book tag. Not mine, but again, I will tag the people who are the original people that I saw them from. Yeah, I thought this was a great idea because I also kind of felt like it was a better way to get to know me, especially since some people are starting to watch my books that I posted last year. Not my books, my videos that I posted last year. And then there's this huge gap of time, literally a year gap of time where I posted nothing. And so I wanted to do the book tag because then it would be fun to kind of show people like what I was kind of up to last year, even though I didn't post videos. If you like it, like the video, comment anything you want to comment in this video. Comment if you've heard of any of the books I mentioned in this video. If you like them, didn't like them, comment what your habits you want to break or what habits you want to pick up for this year. Comment your goals, comment anything. And like the video, maybe subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.